Okay. This part of the Artistic Biker Live is called, I think we're calling it $2 Tuesday tutorial or something like that. This week I'm going to be painting minis, and I had to get a lot of minis prepped up. We're going to in a couple of weeks we're going to do a demo for some mini paintings for my wife's classes over at the elementary school, and it's because it's a simple process that they can do. They can finish it in 45 minutes, so it's great for her classes. Anyway, so I thought I'd go through the process of how I prep the cards for the minis, and then I'm going to paint a sunset. We're not going to work in the book tonight. I'm just going to paint a sunset and chat with you while I do it. Okay, so this is a mini, obviously given its name because of its unusually large size, right? Let's get you some over here in the light. Get you some. Get over here in the light and get you some. It's not any better because the camera's between you and the light. So this one was a dandelion in a sunset, and it's just painted on the back of a playing card. Deck of Artistic Biker playing cards, just a regular poker size regulation playing card. And I thought I'd show you the process of how that happens. So I've got my playing card here, and I've got I think this is 400 grit sandpaper. It might be 250. Anyway, it's medium fine or fine sandpaper. I'm just going to very lightly go over the card. And if you do this to your hand and it hurts, you're pressing too hard. Hey, Pamela French. So I'm just going to very lightly go over the card. And the reason we do this is because paint doesn't like to stick to shiny things. So I'm just very lightly going over the card, trying not to. I certainly don't want to put too much pressure because you'll catch the edge and warp the card. And I did that on a couple of those because I was in a hurry to get that part done. This is the tedious part, and I do it a specific way because I want to make sure the whole card is sanded evenly. So I've got my finger over the ace there so that I can make sure that I can keep track of where that is as I turn it, because you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but it's kind of obvious that it hasn't been sanded compared to the other one. You can't see it, there's no light up there. Anyway, but I know, see, this side's been hit once, and now it's been hit twice, and where my fingers were the first time, it's only been hit once. And I'm going to turn it again, and now this side, this will be hit twice, and this will be hit twice, and this will be hit twice, but where my fingers are there, still only hit twice. By the time we're done, all four corners will be hit three times. There you go. So it's just to reiterate, because I said it wrong. I've got keep my finger over here and sand everything. That way I can keep track of that one. So when I do this, all these other three corners get hit one time, and then I turn it, and I can see that side hasn't been hit yet. So when I sand it, these two corners will have been hit twice, and this side will only have been hit once. Then when I turn it again, this side will get hit the third time. This side will be hit twice, and this side will be hit twice. And the one under my fingers will have been hit twice. So these three will have been hit twice after I sand it. Then when I turn it again, I can cover up the corner that's been hit three times and hit the other three corners one more time, and then all four corners will have been hit three times. So it's an even sanding. And then probably the most important part of this process is getting the dust off of the card. Because if you leave that dust on that card, the paint will not want to stick to it. So you get the dust off the card, clean the dust up out of everywhere, and then the next step is to cover up all your expensive electronics. Turn the phone over, flip the keyboard over, hide the mouse. Oh, look what I'm doing. What are you doing? Stop it. Stop it. Let me know if I stop broadcasting because I'm being goofy over here. Okay, so I did this one for you guys, but I had these. I prepped these up just before we got just before we started recording. And here's the beauty of this: if you really get into this, if you really want to do this, you just lay these things out like this and prep them. I've done 20 and 30 of them at a time, and the only reason I only did that many is because I just wanted to be able to reach them. I didn't want to have to. If I could have done more, I could have had. If I had more space, I could have done more. But I have some flat spray paint that I'm going to use for prep, for surface prep. You can use gesso. Okay. Matter of fact, I started out using gesso, but it got kind of tedious, especially when I was doing so many at a time. But you just hit this with a little spray paint. Don't try to get a full solid coating in one spray, because it'll just puddle on you. Get far enough away that it doesn't blow your card around when you're spraying it. You do want to get the whole card though. When you're done, when you're finished, you shouldn't see the suit of cards. Or if you can see the suit of cards, you should just barely be able to see the suit of cards. There we go. See, the problem with just letting it blow out though is it blows the cards around. It's not always this way, but Rust-Oleum is forceful. It puts a lot of paint out at one time, so it only takes one coat. So now these things have to dry. 20 minutes, an hour. Your best bet's to let them dry overnight if you can, but these things have to dry. And so the ones that I've done for you right here, this is, yeah, they do, Pamela, they do have gesso in a spray. You can use that. Krylon makes gesso in a spray, and so do a couple others. I didn't have very much luck with that. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like it adhered very well. I just never really enjoyed using it. And it's been out for a while now. We've used it. We've used it. Matter of fact, I probably still have a can of it somewhere. But the texture, when I got done, the texture was still the same as using flat white paint. And that's what this is. This is flat white. So it's when it dries, it'll be just. And that's all you want is you. It's primer. That's all that is primer. So all you want is a flat is a flat surface, meaning it has no sheen to it, has no shine to it, no gloss. You want to make sure that it's not a reflective surface at all, because paint doesn't like to stick to shiny surfaces. So this is done. There's nothing more I can do with these until they dry. So I'm going to set them over here somewhere out of my way, on top of my. I'll set them on top of my tube canisters. But I had one over here that I did a little while earlier, and it is, I feel like Julia Child, it should be ready for the next stage. We have one already prepared in the oven. We'll just get that out for you, and isn't that a lovely bird? So we take that one. And you can see it's just, like I said, it's just a playing card. You can see there's practically no sheen to it. And I just put just enough to coat it on there. You can barely see the suit through there. You can barely see that it's queen. But I just put enough on there just to make sure it's got a nice even coat. And then I have this block, and I use this block for a particular reason. I already have marks on here. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah. I already have it marked out where to put the tape to get the border that I want. Hey, Anonymous, I've got lines drawn on my block that shows me where to put the tape, so that I can always put my borders where I want them. So I'm going to take this, and I want to make sure it lines up inside my markings, and then I'm just going to use this little. I'm just using masking tape. You can use painter's tape. You can go get that expensive stuff for the watercolors that seals tight. You can go get. There's all kinds of expensive stuff you can use, but for me, it works out just as well just to use this inexpensive masking tape. So if I get this lined up inside the line, I've got these little lines marked on here, and then I just take my tape and I very carefully, very gently come down here and line it up across there. And you can see I get a nice even border there. You want to burnish the edge of that tape because the idea is to keep the paint from bleeding under it, right? And let's do it again until we have all four corners done, all four sides done rather. Exciting stuff. The prep work is always so exciting. But you know, it's therapeutic for me. There's a process that I go through. This is very similar actually to the process that I use for my full-size paintings. I don't know if you can see the bee behind me. Bee and I aren't speaking to each other. There's a bumblebee back there on canvas. She and I aren't speaking to each other. We're not getting along right now, and until she straightens out, I'm just not talking to her. But this is really not that much different than the process that I use to paint those, because I take those are painted on expired wall calendars, and I take the expired wall calendar, and if you can imagine, this is an expired wall calendar. I sand the back of it, and then I put 4 coats of gesso on the back of it, and then I turn it over. Actually, I use primer, and then I turn it over and I sand the front of it, and I put 4 coats of primer on the front of it, and then I gesso on top of the primer, and then I tape it down and make sure that I've got the borders taped off, just like I did this. And the really cool thing is that if I have painting that I think I want to do in my little mind, I can try it out on this size first, and I'm done in 30 minutes, and I haven't put 2 weeks into prepping a canvas just to trash it. And I could buy, you can buy canvases pre-prepped, but the thing, the whole thing for me is that this is therapeutic to do it this way for me. So okay, that concludes the tutorial on how to set it up. I mean, it's just as simple. From there, you just paint it like you would any other acrylic painting. You could continue on. You could go ahead and put some Golden, and I do not get any money from Golden, but Golden, if you're watching, call me. I like this stuff. You could go ahead and put some Golden absorbent ground on it, a couple of coats, and you could watercolor it. You could spray paint it. You could oil paint on that sucker if you really wanted to. With that primer on there, you could oil paint on it. But I'm gonna go ahead and from here I'm going to put acrylic paint on it. I've got my little set of acrylic paints out, and so I'm going to do that. So that's the tutorial part of it. If you stick around, you'll see me actually paint a sunset on it. And so thanks for watching the tutorial. I'll show you the painting. This is what we did tonight, and it's set enough to handle. I just can't put it away. I needed to cure is what I needed to do. I could hit it with flame. You go to the street artists with spray paint, they hit it with flame. So there's what we painted tonight. And anyway, I look forward to this every week, guys.